There is a reason your mind feels loud, even when your life is quiet. A reason you feel tired without doing much, distracted without noise, and lost without being broken. Nobody taught you this. That clarity doesn't come from doing more. It comes from removing what no longer belongs. Today, we're not talking about productivity, we are talking about mental clutter. Mental clutter is the invisible weight slowing your life down. And once you see it, you won't unsee it. For your better understanding, we will break this down in brief chapters. So let's roll on. Chapter 1. The invisible noise. Your mind is not tired, it's overcrowded. Unfinished conversations, unmade decisions, expectations you never agreed to, versions of yourself you've already outgrown, etc. Some examples of modern life rewards accumulation are more opinions, more goals, more identities, and more pressure. But the brain was never designed for this. Clarity disappears not because you're weak, but because too many voices are talking at once. And here's the dangerous part. Most of those voices aren't even yours. Chapter 2. Where does mental clutter comes from? Mental clutter forms quietly. It comes from saying yes when you meant no, carrying emotional baggage that expired years ago, consuming information without intention, and staying mentally loyal to past versions of yourself. Your brain treats unresolved thoughts like open browser tabs. Each one drains energy. You don't need motivation, you need closure. Chapter 3. The cost of a crowded mind. A cluttered mind delays decisions, weakens intuition, lowers confidence, and creates anxiety without danger. That's why you hesitate. That's why simple things feel heavy. That's why clarity feels so rare. And no, the solution is not thinking harder. Thinking harder inside chaos only creates louder chaos. Chapter 4. The first rule of mental decluttering. Clarity begins with one rule. Everything in your mind must earn its place. Ask yourself, is this thought useful? Is this worry actionable? Is this identity still true? Is this belief inherited or chosen? Mental decluttering is not deleting who you are. It's editing your inner environment. But mental clutter doesn't start in the mind. It starts in the emotions you never processed. This is where most people get stuck, carrying weight they no longer remember picking up. Emotional clutter isn't drama. It's unfinished emotional business. Moments you didn't get closure. Conversations that ended too early. Feelings you swallowed to stay strong. Your mind archived them and your body kept the bill. That's why a random memory can change your mood. Why certain people drain you instantly and why peace feels fragile. You're not broken. You're just emotionally overloaded. Chapter 6. The debt of unexpressed emotion. Every unexpressed emotion becomes emotional debt. And debt compounds. Anger turns into irritability. Grief turns into numbness and disappointment turns into self-doubt. Most people try to move on. But the brain doesn't forget unresolved emotion. It waits. Until silence, until rest, until the mind finally slows down. Then it floods back. Chapter 7. Why you feel heavy for no reason. And have you noticed this? When life finally calms down, you feel worse. That's not failure. That's emotional backlog surfacing. Your nervous system finally feels safe enough to release what it's been holding. But instead of listening, we get distracted with things like scrolling, noise, overworking, and constant stimulation. Clarity avoids crowded emotions. Chapter 8. The courage to feel. Mental decluttering requires one rare skill, which is the courage to sit with discomfort. Not analyze it, not escape it, not label it, but just sit. Emotion loses power when witnessed without judgment. That's why journaling works. That's why silence feels threatening. That's why stillness heals. You don't need answers yet. You need space. Chapter 9. Letting go without reliving. Letting go doesn't mean reliving pain. It means acknowledging what happened, accepting how it shaped you, releasing the need to carry it forward. You can honor the lesson without dragging the memory everywhere. Clarity begins when emotion is processed, not suppressed. I'm sure by now, you've cleared the emotional weight. But there's another layer is hiding deeper. We'll confront the belief clutter shaping your life without permission as we go deeper. By now, the noise is fading. The emotional weight is lighter, but clarity still feels incomplete. That's because the deepest clutter doesn't live in your thoughts or emotions. It lives in your beliefs. The ones you never chose, the ones you inherited, the ones silently running your life. Chapter 10. Belief Clutter, the Invisible Architect. Beliefs shape behavior. Behavior shapes habits. Habits shape identity. Identity shapes destiny. And yet, most people have never audited their beliefs. You believe what you were praised for, what you were punished for, what felt safe growing up, what society rewarded. Not because it was true, but because it was reinforced. Clarity requires courage to question what once protected you. Chapter 11. The Danger of Unquestioned Identities. I'm the strong one. I'm the quiet one. I'm bad with money. I'm not creative. Identities feel comforting, but comfort is not truth. Over-identification creates rigidity, and rigidity kills growth. The moment you say, "This is just who I am," you stop listening, and clarity disappears. Chapter 12. When beliefs outlive their purpose. Some beliefs once kept you safe, but safety is not the same as alignment. A belief that once protected you can later imprison you. Clarity doesn't come from destroying beliefs, it comes from updating them. Just like software. Chapter 13. The Cost of Mental Over-Identification. When you over-identify with thoughts, criticism feels personal, change feels threatening, growth feels exhausting. But here's the truth. You are not your thoughts, you are not your emotions, you are not your beliefs. You are the awareness behind them. That distinction alone creates space. Chapter 14. Reclaiming authority over your mind. Clarity returns when you ask, who taught me this? Does this still serve me? Would I choose this belief today? Awareness dissolves illusion. And once a belief is seen clearly, it loses its grip. You've cleared the noise, you've processed the emotion, you've challenged the beliefs. But clarity isn't just about removal. Going forward, we'll build the mental order that keeps your mind clear long term. By now, you've removed the noise, processed the emotion, challenged the beliefs. But clarity is not a one-time event. It's a system and a way of living and a mental order that must be maintained. Otherwise, the clutter always comes back. Chapter 15. Why clarity fades for most people. Most people experience clarity briefly, after a breakdown, after a realization, after a retreat, or after burnout. But then life resumes. Clarity fades not because insight was wrong, but because structure never replaced chaos. You cleared the room, but never decided what belongs inside it. Chapter 16. Mental order versus mental control. Trying to control the mind creates tension. Order creates freedom. Mental order means fewer commitments, fewer identities, fewer mental promises, and fewer internal negotiations. Clarity grows in simplicity. Not everything deserves your attention. Not every thought deserves belief, and not every emotion deserves reaction. Chapter 17. The Role of Stillness. Stillness is not inactivity. It's mental hygiene. Stillness allows emotional digestion, belief updating, and intuitive calibration. That's why boredom feels uncomfortable. It exposes mental clutter. Stillness is where alignment speaks. Chapter 18. Clarity as a daily practice. Daily clarity requires only 3 habits. 1. Mental check-in. What am I carrying that doesn't belong today? 2. Emotional honesty. Naming feelings without judgment. 3. Belief awareness. Questioning assumptions before acting. Clarity compounds quietly. Chapter 19. Living from clarity, not noise. A clear mind makes faster decisions, trusts intuition, resists manipulation, conserves energy, and moves deliberately. This is the real advantage. Not hustle, not motivation, and not control. For clarity to occur, you don't need to become more, you need to carry less. Clarity isn't found. It's revealed when what doesn't belong is removed. Guard it carefully. Subscribe to Mindflix if you want more structured transformations. Join the movement and welcome to becoming stronger, wiser, and more powerful than you realize.